friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. In today's video, we're going to be pretty much going over the ultimate guide on starting your small craft business from home. So maybe you're a true beginner, you want to start a craft business from home, but you just don't know what steps to take, you're overwhelmed by all the things that you need to do. Or maybe you are already a small business owner and you just kind of want to check off the boxes and see if there's anything you're missing or anything that can help you along your journey. Regardless, I'm happy you're here, and hopefully I can share some tips and tricks in this video to help you guys wherever you are in your journey. Well, first and foremost, if you don't know who I am, hi, I'm Sally, and I have had a small business from home for many years. And recently my husband now works with me full time, and we run our Etsy shop and small business from home. We're very busy, but we absolutely love it. It's been a blessing. It's been a journey. Learned a lot through the years. So I thought a great video, since so many people have so many questions on just how to start a business, things to think about before, what you need to do for your business strategy, planning, things to think about after, during, what do you need to do for marketing, pricing your products, just all the things. So I'm going to kind of condense all that into one video today, and we're going to talk about all the things today. So if you're wanting to kind of get an idea of things you need to do to start a small craft business from home, then just keep on watching. All right, so the very first step that I have for y'all today is to get confident in your craft. So obviously, whatever you're gonna make and sell, you wanna get confident in your process, you wanna get confident in the durability of your product, you just wanna make sure that you have a quality product, because if you don't, then let's just say you did something one time and you're like, okay, I'm gonna sell this, and you sell it a bunch of times, and maybe the durability isn't great because maybe the glue you used wasn't that great, or the yarn you used maybe wasn't that great. And then down the road, you're gonna have unhappy people, unhappy customers, and then it's gonna make you feel down and just kind of, you won't feel confident in yourself. So try and get as confident as you can in your craft and just practice, and ensure that you feel pretty good to sell this product. And that's something that takes a lot of patience. Sometimes, you can do that by selling to family and friends, or gifting to people, or just testing your product by really wear and tear. Like sometimes I will take things and I'll be like, okay, how well will this hold up? And just kind of wear it over like yourself and just see how it's gonna hold up. For example, back when I sold tumblers, I wanted to make sure that the tumblers were gonna be good quality. So I used it every single day. I ran it through the dishwasher a bunch of times. I just wanted to make sure that I had a good quality product. So that is what I encourage you to do, is just practice, get confident in your craft. Another way to get confident in your craft is by learning through observation. So maybe finding YouTube videos or TikTok videos or videos of other people that make products similar to you, and you can watch their processes and see, maybe they'll have tips and tricks and ways for you to help streamline your process more and help you learn what products are good to use within your craft, just things like that. So learning through observation can be a great way to kind of build your confidence in your craft. That is one thing I love to do, is by, vetting certain glues or vetting certain paints, or, finding things that people have used for many years and know that if I use that same glue or if I use that same paint, that it should probably be pretty good if many people are using the same. So I hope that makes sense. But learning through observation, practice through family and friends, and just getting truly confident in what you want to make and sell. And just know too that whatever you make, you don't have to stick to that forever. I started with sewing, believe it or not. I used to make kids' clothing and blankets and just different items like that. And obviously now I do laser cut items. So don't be so stressed that you have to narrow down a specific product right now. Just do something that you enjoy doing and that you know and feel confident in creating. All right, next thing we're going to talk about is things to think about. So I know, there's a ton of things going through your mind right now. What do I need to be thinking about? Are there things that maybe I haven't even thought about that I need to be thinking about? Well, that's what we're going to talk about now. So first thing to think about is, what is your why? So your why might be your family. Your why might be, maybe you want to increase your income. Your why might be financial freedom. Your why might be flexibility for your schedule. Your why can be so many different things. It might be all of the above, but that's what you really need to figure out, because once you figure out your why, that's going to help guide, your whole strategy. Because for me, my why was that I really wanted to be able to be home with my kids. I wanted to be able to work from home and be able to have the flexibility of being home with my children. So that was kind of my main why. So a lot of my strategies and planning and everything revolved around that. But I encourage you to just kind of sit and think, what is my why? Another thing to think about is, do you have support from family and friends? If things get busy, especially. So, if things get busy, do you have people that you can rely on to maybe help you pick the kids up from school? Or are you going to have to shift your whole schedule around your lifestyle? Because for me, I know my husband worked a more than full time job. So, I didn't have anyone to help if things got busy. Like, if I needed like a weekend to get work done, I had to really shift my schedule around the kids and things that worked for my lifestyle. And another thing it's important is having supportive family and friends when you're starting a business can be kind of an important thing, because when you start, you're going to need a lot of support in terms of, I'm stressed. I need you to like talk me through this. Financially, can you help me through this? Are we okay to do this for me to take some time to build this business up? So, kind of strengthening your relationship with those around you and letting them know kind of how you're feeling, you're wanting to start this business. That can be something really important, because I know how lonely it can feel when you start your business. Back when I started, I feel like starting a business was not like that common. And I felt very alone. I felt like it was a very strange thing I was doing. And so I just want you to know you got support around you, whether it be from your family and friends or whether it be from even strangers on the internet. Just find your support and make sure that you have that support and you've talked things through with your family and friends. So, another thing to think about is financial things. So, what is your budget for startup? You need to kind of have an idea of how much the products that you need to start your business up will be. Figure all of that up and figure out what is your budget. What is the max you can spend? Do you need financial help to start your business up? Some people do loans, some people do credit cards. There's a lot of different ways to do that. And some people save up for years to get to that point where they can afford the things that they need to start their business up. It can be very costly to start a business. So that's why I mentioned you need to be thinking about all the things. Does your equipment cost a lot? Do you have enough in savings to pay for it? Do you need financial support? That is a lot of stuff to just kind of brainstorm, but I definitely want to recommend that you have some kind of idea for a budget in mind, and how much your startup will be, and kind of write that all out and have a plan for that. So, kind of piggybacking off of the financial things, you need to think about how much do you need money-wise to make a livable income. So, everyone's situation is different. You might have financial support from a spouse or family member while you're building your business up, but it's something important to think about, just a goal you have set in mind, how much you're okay with making, and just know that it's not like an overnight success. Some people do, but sometimes it takes weeks and months and even years to financially get to the point that you might want for a business. So I guess just really brainstorming and thinking, how much do you need to make a livable income for yourself and your situation? So another thing you need to think about is, where do you want to sell your products? Do you want to sell on a website like Etsy, which has a built-in customer base? It's a trusted platform. Or do you want to start your own website completely from scratch, so using something like Shopify or Wix, and gearing everything, all the customers to you? So that's something that very important to think about. You have convenience, which is Etsy, and then you have control, which is your own website. So the convenience is nice because, like I said, you have the built-in customer base, you have the trusted platform, all of the things like that. It's a little bit easier for startup businesses a lot because it's just all there for you. Yes, you have the fees. Yes, you have all the things you have to think about, but that's why pricing your products is important, because you can price your products to kind of work around those fees. And then you have the control, which is your website, where you pay less fees and you can charge a little bit more of a reasonable price, but you have to literally work pretty hard to get your customers to you. Now, if you have social media built up and things like that, having your own website can be great because it's a little bit easier, but it's just a lot of work. I think that it's a lot of work, especially for small businesses. So I always recommend to everybody when they first start a business, go for the Etsy, go for the website, do them both if you can afford both. And that way you kind of have kind of the best of both worlds. I think Etsy's great because it does have that built-in customer base, and you can build some rapport and things to customers to come back, and then maybe they'll purchase from your website and things like that. So that's just kind of my take on it. I think it's great to do a little bit of both, because you're not putting all your eggs in the Etsy basket per se. You have your website to fall back on, but it's just some things to brainstorm and think about. But that's what I say. I say just do a little bit of both. And while you have your Etsy platform, be building up your website and be working on that behind the scenes so that you have, like I said, something of your own that you can always fall back on. So a very important thing to think about is, are you ready for the time that it takes to start a business. I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to sugarcoat any of this, but starting a business is hard. It's a lot of work, stress, long nights, um, anxiety, just all the things, because you're trying to build a business. You're trying to get your products out there. You're trying to grow. You're trying to, you want to be successful, all the things. And so you are going to spend those long hours and all the energy, mental capacity, everything is going to be a lot. And so people ask me a lot. They're like, is it something that I can handle? Is that something I even need to worry about? Or maybe they go into it not realizing how much stress it can be in the beginning. And I hate the whole like hustle culture stuff, because I know it can be so toxic for some people, but I'm not going to lie that it is a hustle in the beginning. It's a lot of work. You have to really set aside time in your life to build this, and it's going to take time and work and effort. So are you ready for that? Are you ready for the time that is going to take? Is that something that you can handle with your lifestyle, with the things that are going on in your life? Just something very important to think about. So just want to throw that out there. And like I said, I didn't want to sugarcoat any of it, but it does take a lot of time to build a business. So another really important thing to think about is suppliers. So that is important to have not only one supplier, but have a backup supplier as well, because you need to find someone that's trustworthy, has durable and good quality products, has a fast turnaround time if you need it. Or do you have somebody that maybe you can buy in bulk and save money? That's something to think about too. For us, we used to buy our wood at just like the local, big box store. And we actually were spending a lot more money doing that. And it was kind of unreliable because sometimes the wood would be messed up or we would have problems. And then we ended up finding a local lumber yard that's kind of like a mom and pop shop. And we are able to kind of buy our wood by the pallet. And the wood's always great quality. We trust the place. We know what our turnaround time is. So that's just something to kind of like narrow down and figure out now, because it's really important. Suppliers, like I said, can make and break everything. If you don't get a good supplier, or if something happens and you don't have a backup supplier, that can be pretty bad, especially when you have customers that are ordering products and you don't have the stuff you need. So really think about that. I think it's pretty important. So kind of going along with the supplier stuff, do you have the storage and the space in your home to supply and store everything? Do you have the space to run your business in your home? That's important because, when we first started, I had a little corner in our living room and I quickly outgrew it so fast, but it worked. And I utilized a lot of space. I utilized space in our garage and our spare rooms, under beds and bins, just wherever I could. So is that feasible where you live? Are you able to run the business from your home? Do you need to go and find storage facilities or warehouses? Or are you going to be able to run it in your home? Okay, so now I kind of covered some things to think about. And of course, there might be so many more things that you need to think about in your specific life, but those are just kind of an overview of some things that you might should think about. So next, we're going to kind of go into pricing your products. So this kind of, after you figured out your craft, you figured out your supplies, you figured out everything that you need to now figure out how much do you need to charge to make a profit from your product. So how I always recommend doing this is it's kind of brought into 3 steps. So the first step is doing your market research to figure out kind of what other people that are selling your products sell their products for. So you're going to get kind of a low end of that and a high end of that. And you're going to kind of write these down. You're going to see several sellers and you're going to kind of document all of this. Leave that step, then go to step number 2, which is how much is your shipping going to cost? Now, I do have a video where I kind of break down how I determine shipping costs, and I'll go ahead and link it here in the cards because it's kind of a long process, so I don't want to say it all in this video. But basically, you're going to find the state that's furthest from you, figure out how much your product is going to measure and weigh, and then mock ship it. So pretty much figure out, there's a lot of great pricing calculators online, but you can kind of mock ship your item, figure out how much it's going to cost the furthest away from you, and then you can kind of get an idea of shipping. And you're going to then figure out, okay, you have the shipping cost generally, and then you have the product pricing that other sellers sell their products for, from the low end to the high end. And then the last but not least, how much does it cost you to create your product? So this is where you're going to break down your cost from everything. You are going to break down, for example, for us, for woodworking, we're going to figure out how much a sheet of wood costs, how much the paint costs, how much any other materials that we use in our product are going to cost, along with packaging. You're going to figure all of that up and you're going to write it down. There's a lot of great profit calculators out there that you can use online to kind of help you with these things. But once you figured out those 3 things, it's kind of then up to you to use your discretion. How much do you want to make? You know how much it costs to make your product. You know how much shipping costs. Then you need to figure out, okay, am I going to include shipping cost into my product, or am I going to charge for shipping? And then I'm going to figure out product pricing. So that is completely up to you as a seller to decide what profit you're willing to make. But the most important thing I could tell you guys when it comes to pricing is do not undercharge yourself to the point where you're not making a profit. It's not worth it. There are sellers that do that, and you're going to see them online all over. They might make $2 or $3 on something. That is not worth it. That is a big mistake I made in the very beginning. Come tax time, I figured out that I was literally making pennies. I felt like it was just so discouraging. So do yourself a favor and do your due diligence of figuring out your pricing correctly so that way you can make a profit. But that's the condensed version. I think I'm going to make a longer, more detailed video soon on pricing your products, but that's in short kind of something that I would recommend doing, is nailing that down so that you won't lose money. All right, so you've gotten confident in your craft. You have thought about all the things you need to think about. You have priced your products. So now it's time to plan this thing out. So let's go ahead and hop into this phase and figure out maybe some things that you should think about with planning. All right, so if y'all have watched my videos for a while, you know that I'm a huge fan of market research. I think that it is probably the most important thing that you can do when it comes to planning and having your shop set up for success. And if you don't know what market research is, in short, it's basically just kind of figuring out trends, figuring out what your target audience is and what they want, what people are actively looking for. And by doing that, you can look at other sellers that sell similar products to you, figuring out what's doing well, figuring out how then you can make products that will stand out and be basically what your customer is looking for. So important, but really narrowing down who your target audience is and what they're looking for will help you then create successful products. Obviously, you're going to have to do things like taking quality photos and having your listing SEO optimized, things like that. But when you have a great product, the rest will kind of flow together because you have a great product. So super important to do that and kind of do your due diligence of at least once a month, do some market research, figuring out trends, figuring out what's selling, and figuring out what your audience is looking for. So you've been thinking about a lot of things throughout this time, this process. Now it is time to put it together into a business strategy, a business plan that's basically organizing your thoughts and organizing your plan and putting it together on a list. Some people like to write things down. Some people like to mentally think about their business strategy. But that is important to do because you have basically a to-do list of things that you need to do. You need to write down the things that you need to do to get set up for this business. You need to plan it out and have a good set business plan. And there's a lot of great things online that even have printouts for business plans and business strategies, but I definitely recommend doing that because I really believe that if you have it all written down, it's going to help you keep your thoughts together and organize everything great. So make your business plan and put all your thoughts together of all of these things we've kind of talked about so that you can be set up for success. All right, now it's time to think about your business name. So that is really an important part of business, I feel like, because your name is what people are going to think of when they're like, oh yeah, I bought that from so-and-so. So you don't want to come up with a name that is extremely hard to remember. A name that is super niched down. Don't do what I did, because when I was sewing, like I said before, my business name was something having to do completely with sewing, and it had nothing to do with me and what I sell and make now. So I ended up getting a DBA, which is a doing business as. So it's just a lot more work. So come up with a name that is just pretty broad and that could be changed around a little bit. Maybe it's something important to you, but just make it easy to spell, easy to remember so that people can look you up on social media or they can find your shop really easily. And a great way to come up with your business name, and you do need to do this because a lot of people make this mistake and then it's like, oh, I got to come up with a whole nother one. Go to your Secretary of State. Everyone has one for their state, but go to their website and there's always usually a search database that gives all the business names that are registered in your state. So make sure that that name is not taken, and you can just usually do the search on your own. It's really helpful and really easy to do. And after you've done that, now go to Etsy and other platforms that you might sell on, and even go Google it and see if your business name is on anything else. Because if it is, it's going to be harder for people to find you because it might be something that's already out there or established. And so I recommend coming up with something unique to you that nobody else really has. All right, the next thing you want to think about with your planning phase is your branding and your colors. So it's not like the absolute most important thing ever, but it does kind of attract your customers a little bit. And I'll explain why. So I'm just going to throw that out there. Let's say you had a fun, interesting cupcake shop where you sold a bunch of really interesting, fun cupcakes. Well, you want your branding and your photos and your colors to be really bright and fun because that's who you're trying to attract. So you need to think of, what is your target audience going to be attracted with? For me and for my signs, I do a lot of things that are in people's homes and people's weddings, so outdoors and in very clean white backgrounds. So I want my branding to kind of be very like clean and minimal, and like I don't need anything too crazy or too colorful because that's not my target audience. So you're going to need to think of who is your target audience and what will attract them. So that's your branding and colors. You need to think about your logo if you want one, and come up with all of that. Maybe you can hire somebody to do that for you, or you can create it yourself, which kind of ties us into the next thing to think about for your planning. And that is to potentially purchase some design softwares, maybe like Canva or PicMonkey, because you will use those so much in your business, you guys. I use PicMonkey every single day for my business, whether it be for making listing photos or just fun little things that are in my shop. So I definitely recommend looking into maybe purchasing one of those so that you can have a design software to put all your things together. And it kind of helps too, because your customers, when they're browsing through your photos, if you're able to design like listing photos in there that you maybe have some instructions and different things like that, it makes it look really organized and really clean. So that's something I always like to recommend. It will be money well spent if you get one of those design websites. All right, so now we're going to talk a little bit more on the serious side of things, the legal side of things. So getting your business legal. So I'm going to go ahead and preface this by saying I am not a professional, a legal professional. I am not a lawyer. I don't have all the knowledge when it comes to this. So please take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, and you definitely do your own due diligence in researching your state laws and figuring out what kind of licensing you need depending on what kind of entity you are and all the things like that. But I'll definitely just give you like a general overview of steps that you should take to getting legal, and then you can figure it out depending on your state and all that. I just wanted to start by saying that because I don't want anybody to ever just take my advice and then figure out that they didn't do one step or something like that. So just starting with saying that. So the first step would be to figuring out what type of business entity you want to become, what kind of licensing you need. So a lot of time, if you're a single member, it's only you running the company, people will choose to either become a sole proprietor or an LLC. I personally am an LLC, which is a limited liability company, and that kind of is where you separate yourself from your business. And a lot of times people will choose between the two of them. Depending on your state, like for example, in South Carolina, becoming an LLC was extremely easy, very low cost. So I went ahead and did that because of the type of business I had, and it just made more sense to me to do that. So after you figured that out, which one you want to become, I contacted personally my Secretary of State, and they let me know all of the information I needed to know, told me what kind of licensing I needed, directed me to a one-stop website, which is a business one-stop, and I think every single state has one, but basically it literally gave me, I think, questionnaires and different things, and I went through a series of questions, and it let me know exactly what I needed. It let me know what type of licensing I needed. It let me know the steps to becoming an LLC, and it just did everything on that one website. And I also got my EIN, which is from your the IRS usually, and that is how you pay taxes. So you need three things. You need your EIN number, which is for taxes. You need to become an entity, so sole proprietor, LLC, or some type of entity depending on what you're doing, what you're selling, how many members you have in it. That all ties in together. And then as well as that, you'll do whatever licensing. So maybe you'll need a retail license, maybe you'll need other permits for your state. All the states will be able to tell you exactly what you need. And then as well as that, you'll also need to figure out if you need any kind of insurance. So maybe you run a company that requires certain types of insurance to protect yourself. So that's something else you might want to look into by contacting different insurance agencies, different things like that to figure out if you need to cover yourself and protect yourself in those ways. And sometimes people sell certain products like, for example, baby clothes or kids things like toys and things that have to be tested. You might have to get even more certifications for that. So definitely really research that and figure out if there's any kind of laws in terms of that. I know when I was doing baby items, I had to get, I think it was CPSIA compliant, all those things. And it is just steps you need to take to make sure that you're doing it legally. Because if you kind of think, oh, it's okay to just skip that and just not do it, that's not worth it. Because if the one chance you get caught or something happens, you will get in a lot of trouble. You can get your business shut down. It's just not worth it. So definitely figure out what kind of licensing, permits, all the things that you need to do. And like I said, every state should have an office that can help you with that. Some places have small business offices that they help small businesses get started. So just research your state, type in small business help, or your Secretary of State should be able to guide you to that. But in short, licensing, permits, becoming an entity, so sole proprietor, LLC, something like that, and getting your EIN number, and all of those things. That is like the first main step to getting legal. So the next step of getting legal would be to then create a business bank account. So basically what that is a bank account opened up under your business name. You'll usually have to have an EIN number, sometimes a business license to open up your business bank account, but it separates your finances from your business finances. And it's so much better to do that because come tax time, you're going to have all of your finances separated and you'll know exactly what purchases your business made and all those things. So definitely consider opening a business bank account. And I did it in a credit union because I found out that it was actually pretty high. You had to have some bank accounts, you had to have like a minimum of $2,500 that you could not touch. And I absolutely hated that. I was like, I hate just having it just sit there. So I ended up looking around and our local credit union had where you only had to have $25 minimum and you could have the rest of the money if you needed it. And so I felt like that was a better option. So check around local credit unions and different small branches to see if you can do that. And it's nice to have everything together under one area. So definitely getting a business bank account is a smart thing to do, and it's that next step that will make you just feel like doing all the right things. So the next thing that you need to make sure that you do your due diligence with researching and legal stuff is copyright and trademarks. Y'all, you do not want to mess with anything that has anybody else's content or anything involved in it. So that's sayings, phrases, any kind of artwork, any kind of things that are not yours. And a lot of people get tied up with like the Disney stuff, like the Mickey Mouse stuff, and just all the things that you shouldn't be selling. So just make sure that you stay away from that, and also research phrases and sayings. I think there's I can't think of if I always get this confused. It's UPSTO, I think, or USPTO. It's a website that tells you trademarks and copywritten phrases and sayings, so you know not to like sell anything with those on it. So definitely don't get yourself tied up in that stuff. It's not worth it. But definitely do your research and make sure you stay away from anything that could be considered copywritten or trademarked. The last step that I have to getting legal is purchasing some type of inventory, spreadsheets, and things that can help you with taxes. So for us, we use Paper and Spark. I absolutely love them. I'll link below the exact ones that I have, but they're so great to have because you can have your inventory stuff put together. So all the purchases you make for your business, all of the Etsy stuff, you have like CSV files that you can import into these spreadsheets, and it helps make taxes so much easier. So that's what we use right now. But some people like QuickBooks, and there's other apps and different things that you can use. But definitely go ahead and start off on the right foot by getting your tax stuff organized, because I did not do that in the beginning and I was so stressed and so overwhelmed with how much work it is. Trying to scramble and put everything together on your own last minute. So get organized in the beginning and just go ahead and purchase those. I think it's worth it. And then you'll have it for the remainder of your business that you can keep up with, stay organized, and all that good stuff. All right, here's the final things that I have that you should do before you start your business, and that is going ahead and getting your store set up. So designing everything, getting all of your listings created, doing SEO research, so figuring out how to maximize your visibility of your products. So looking at for tags, titles, keywords, descriptions, all that good stuff. That's all very important to getting the visibility. But remember, quality over quantity. So don't just throw 100 listings up without making sure that they're good and optimized and they're a good quality product. So that's something important. You're setting your store up. You're getting to the end of all of your business planning and things like that. So that's an important first step. Getting your shop made and your store made. Obviously, you're not launching yet, but you're getting everything kind of perfected and finished up. So once your store is kind of getting set up and you're getting the process going, you have all the plans ready, you're going to go ahead and then set up your social media accounts. So I know a lot of people are not into social media, but I think it is pretty important when it comes to your small business. And some shops do fine without it, but from friends I have and a lot of people I've talked to, social media can kind of change the game for you. It can be a built-in marketing platform for you. You can post and things can go viral and you can get a ton of sales. It has been a game changer for a ton of businesses, so why not do it? I wish that I had more time to invest in our social media, and soon I'm trying to get more into it, but it is important, I think. So taking time to make posts, show behind the scenes, engage with your followers, build up that like personality with them and like relationship with them so that they can know who they're supporting. Because a lot of time you forget like that you're purchasing from an actual human that has a family and that has a life. And it's kind of cool to post behind the scenes sometimes and show people who they're supporting. So social media can be great. Like I said, it's a marketing platform. It's great to kind of market your business and share things and get the word out there. It's very powerful. So kind of piggybacking off of the social media stuff, you're going to want to have a marketing plan and maybe a marketing budget. Now, this is really important, and especially in the beginning, because you need to get your business out there. But when it comes to marketing, we're talking, ads, maybe email marketing, maybe some collabs with other small business owners, just ways to kind of really get your business out there, grow your following, grow your customer base. It's a great thing to do. So for us, we have a marketing budget that we do every single day on Etsy, and we will run ads. And actually they do really well. Even on products that are already doing well, the ad budget can kind of bump things up even more and kind of keep it there, keep it going. So you can start off as low as you want, and you can kind of play around with the numbers and find like a good number that works for you. But you can run ads on Etsy, run ads on social media, just wherever you can, but come up with some kind of budget that you might can have on mind. Even if it's as little as like $1 a day, that can help you a ton. That $1 a day could show a lot of people your products. So come up with a marketing budget and a marketing plan for your business. So the next step is announcing to family and friends and people in your life that you have a business going. Let them support you. A lot of times people love to support their friends and family and small businesses especially, and post about it. Tell people about your business coming up. Have a launch date planned that you're building up to. Like, hey, we have 10 days left until our launch, 5 days left. Y'all make sure to support us. If you buy on this day, you can get this. Maybe you could have some kind of like deal for the people that purchase on your launch date, maybe a sale, maybe something that can kind of encourage people to purchase from you. But don't be scared to let people know about your business plans. I know some people get worried that they're going to fail or something like that, so they're scared to tell family and friends about their business. I know I was a little bit embarrassed in the beginning just because I didn't want people to like, if something went wrong with it, that people would look down on me. But I have learned to definitely not worry about what other people think about you, especially when it comes to your business, because it's your life and you're doing something that you're excited about. So share it with other people. Like I mentioned before, having a launch date is super cool because you can plan to have a sale or something to kind of draw people in, let people know that they have something that they cannot miss out on, like this sale that they can't pass up, or this really cute product that they can get, maybe like a little freebie that is with each package. I don't know, just come up with something that might work for you, but launch dates can be very successful. So after all that's done, you're going to kind of tie up some loose ends. Just make sure you have plenty of supplies ready for sales to start coming in. You make sure you have a good lead time that you can keep up with. So for example, can you send products out within 3 days, 5 days, 1 day? How quickly can you ship products out? And honestly, y'all, just a quick tip, the sooner the better. If you can ship products out quickly, people tend to purchase faster if they have that. But yeah, just tying up loose ends, having all of your stuff ready to go. You have your shop ready. You've told family and friends. You have your launch date. You are ready to go, you guys. And I know it can be daunting. I know that it can be kind of overwhelming thinking I'm going to forget something. That's okay, you guys. Like, this does not have to all be figured out. That's something I want to tell you guys now. You do not have to have it all figured out. You can take your time. You can learn as you go, and you will learn as you go. You're going to find ways to streamline your process. You're going to find things not to do, things to do. It's okay to not know everything right away. But just, know that it is okay. It's okay to pivot. Like I told you guys, I started with something completely different. I pivoted a lot throughout the years to find what worked, what clicked. And you can do that too. And the most important thing is just starting. And I know so many people say that, but that's the hardest part, is just doing it. You might plan and plan and plan and plan and plan, but really what you need to do is just start, and the learning can come along with it. So I hope that y'all just take that advice out of anything that I could say today. And just remember that things take time. It could take weeks, months, years to find the success that you're looking for. And that's okay, you guys. And just continue working at it, nurturing it, almost like it's a baby. You have to take care of it and help it to grow. And that is what you need to do with your shop. And just remember that it is okay to pivot. It is okay to change things up. It is okay to fail. That is okay. Like, things like that help you to grow. You're going to learn so many things throughout this experience, and just making sure that you truly just take care of yourself, take breaks when you can and when you want to and when you need it. It is okay. Always prioritize that over anything in your shop. All of that stuff can wait, because the stress can really take a toll on you. So just take care of yourself. And those are just some little tips that I have from years of business, and I know how hard it can be. And I hope that all of you who are listening to this video, I hope that you follow your dreams. I hope that you just go ahead and start that business. Don't put it off anymore. It can be beautiful. And no, it doesn't work for everyone either. Sometimes you can start a business and it can be so overwhelming and not work in every lifestyle and every personality. And that's okay too. But I just hope whatever it is, you follow your dreams and that you continue to work hard at them and strive for what you truly want. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. If you guys have any questions or want any other videos kind of diving deeper into any of these topics, let me know in the description, or let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, I hope that you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, everyone.